All right, we're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. Give people a couple minutes. Stealing some lunch.
Gotta get it in.
All right, well, you guys are back with us. Just shoot us a chat. Link in the comment in the chat. Let us know we're ready to rock. Don't want to start without anybody. All right, that's good. That's good. That's good. What's for lunch, Brown?
It's I don't know, some kind of curry bally thing, chicken. I don't know.
Indeed, indeed. What's up, Espino? Interesting. So it's Indian curry?
Yeah, something like that.
Indeed, indeed. Still annoyed with the name. Geese, it'll get changed. I know that you're anxious to be Geese and not Kareem, but it'll happen. It'll happen eventually. And while she's grubbing a little bit, the screencasting deal, I think, is the most important part of this entire hustle, just because of the fact that the asynchronous work is going to be such a large part of what the kids are going to be asked to do. And you're not going to have students, especially you're talking about kindergartners, you're talking about kids who are perhaps pre-literate, not very literate, functionally illiterate, being able to show them on the screen where they need to go, being able to record your voice, walking them through certain things, paramount in terms of how we're going to do this entire hustle. So the screencasting game has to be kind of on point in terms of just making sure that when kids are not in your presence, which was it 90 minutes K2 and 120? Yeah, something crazy like that. So you're not going to be with them very, very, very long. And so
I think that includes specials. I think we're included in that.
It's what, 15 minutes for us, I believe?
I don't know.
So it's going to be important that you record those screens, and then you have your parents, right? So you have your parents involved with, I don't know what you're doing, teacher person. I'm not a teacher. What do you want Bob to be able to do? So the screencasting deal is going to be important. Oh, I'm echoing. I think I have my, I was checking the YouTube. That's why I'm echoing. That's it. Yep. There we go. We should be good now. I was checking to make sure YouTube was going the right way. All right, Brian, you ready to rock and roll?
I'm ready to go now that you all watch me eat my lunch.
All right.
I hope y'all enjoyed that.
I mean, look, you made me hungry.
Oh boy. All right. Round 3 for me. Okay, so those of you that are just joining for the first time with me this morning, My name is Amy Brown. I'm the music specialist at Deering Elementary School. I work with Mike. Mike's at our school and another specialist. And I've been trying to integrate technology into my elementary music lessons for the last 5 years. We have, if you're not sure or you don't know about it, we have some technology-based skill standards that students are supposed to know, being 21st century skills. And so we have expectations of how teachers will present that. So we have, they're called the ITSE standards. They can, what the ITSE standards are for educators, how are we supposed to be delivering and preparing them? And then ITSE standards for students, what are their competency levels as they move forward? So Mike can go ahead and share that link. It's just like, I think, ITSE.org, ITSE.org. And it'll be right there if you're interested in that. So this is the perfect time for those of you that maybe are not familiar with those. Everything we're doing is really online and distance learning, and it might be time to take a look at how you can incorporate some of those ITSE standards into your own content. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about preparation for doing screen recording, because there are some things you have to kind of do before you just turn on your camera and go. We're going to talk about different features and what kind of content should you record. And I didn't add the Canvas aspect to it, but I will also add how to embed your links into Canvas. And you can also screen record and do audio right in there as well. So I'm going to show you, if you want to do everything right in Canvas and you don't want to use a third-party tool, I will show you that at the end. But I'm going to start with some third-party things for us. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is go over here, and there are different platforms for screen recording. One that's very popular right now is Screencastify. And if you choose to use this one, Screencastify, you can use it, but you're only going to get 5 minutes of the free version. Like if you don't pay for it, which is, I think I investigated, it's $49 a year, which for a whole year is not bad. But if you choose not to do that, you're only going to have 5 minutes of recording time. And I tend to do a lot more of 5 minutes with content. Now, when I'm trying to introduce a lesson and just go through the learning target or something fun or an opening movement activity, I can usually keep that in 5 minutes. But if you're going to want to actually use content for a 20-minute or a 30-minute viewing on your screen, this is not going to work for you unless you pay for it. So the one that I like better is called Loom. Loom.com. So that's where I'm going to focus our attention, because this is the one I use most of the time, and then you can decide. There are other tools out there as well, but we'll walk through this. Now, before we start talking about the screen recording, let's talk about the preparation. As you're looking at me, my husband set up this little soiree area for me, but I'm kind of in a little cave. And if I unplug the light that he has for me, you're going to see all of a sudden I'm dark. Like, I don't have good lighting. So you are not going to want to record if the students can't see you. You're going to have to go around your house or your classroom or your area, wherever you are, and find where is the best lighting. And you can do that by just screen recording yourself, like as a practice, and you'll be able to see what does it actually look like from the student view. So lighting is going to be important. My house is horrible for lighting. I have natural light and not natural light, and so he set this up, and so this is the best thing that's worked so far. And too bad that it's, like a week ago when we've been in this situation for 5 months. But anyway, beggars can't be choosers. You're also going to want to make sure that your internet connection is good. So you want to, if possible, if you're having issues with that, you're going to want to put your device close to your router. And you're also going to want to make sure that your device, or if you're on a laptop or whatever, is charged. And if you can keep it plugged in, that would be great. So if any of you took my Nearpod training, I'm using the same computer I did, and I didn't have all this nice lighting. So I had to take this computer and put it over in better lighting. And then right at the end of our session, it came up, your battery is going to die. So I had to walk over with you all and hook it up here. And so without trying to avoid all of those different, fiascos, speaking from experience, try to find a place, that is going to be good light. It's going to have a plug so you can just keep it plugged in, and make sure your internet connection is good. Another thing you're going to want to look at is, where is my mic? So your microphone. So you're going to need to practice talking as you're just doing a fake recording. Just look at the light, practice talking. Can you hear? Is it not good to hear? If you need an external microphone, you could order one of those. I'm just using the internal microphone from my computer, which seems to work. I do have an external microphone. I just haven't set it up yet, but that might be something that you need to look into and play around with. You also need to look at, when you're recording, do I fit in the box? So you have to make sure that whatever the box is and the recording is, that you're fitting into that space. A lot of times for us music teachers, we do a lot of things with our hands. We go up and down. So you're not going to be able to do the same kind of progression that you do in your classroom. You might have to do just little steps of things that you to fit into the box, to give them that illusion of ascending and descending. The fun thing is, this is the best part. You're going to need to practice probably before you just wing it. I have, for some of my professional development courses that I'm teaching, when I do an introduction video, I script it all out. And if any of you end up taking it, you're going to see my eyes wandering because I'm reading it. I'm not that good where I can just do it. And even you see me looking, I have everything on my iPad for notes, because I don't trust myself to just wing things. Mike's good at that sometimes, not me. I have to have a list and a script to know exactly what I'm going to say. So I highly suggest that even if you put it in an outline form, or whatever it is that you're going to do, that you have a plan. You're also going to want to, this is going to sound really funny, but I want you to think of, if you have little kids, the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. That's probably a cartoon from a long time ago. My son is now a sophomore in high school. But what would happen is Mickey Mouse would come, and it was a clubhouse, and he'd say, "Do you want to come play in my clubhouse?" And then you would hear nothing. And then he would respond and go, "Well, all right," because he was allowing wait time for the kids to yell at the TV. "Yeah, I want to be there." You got to have wait time. If you're doing, I'm talking, again, especially I'm a music teacher, so it's not I'm a geometry teacher where I'm just sharing my screen or a presentation like this. But for, the music specialist, I know there's some of you out there, and for other content areas where you want that response, you're going to have to allow wait time for them. And so that'll get them more engaged in what they're doing as well. The other thing you want to do is make sure that you have all of your materials before you start recording. I don't know how many times I would be in the middle of recording and realize, oh, I was going to use the guitar and that's in the bedroom. And so you can just get up and go get it, but I don't recommend that. Being the perfectionist, I had to start over. So have everything there set up and ready so that once you start recording, you don't have to get up and you can do it. You're not going to want a whole, if you're going to sit there and lecture for 50 minutes, probably not a good idea. Even, with high schoolers, break it into chunks. You want to, Mike said we're going to have a certain amount of time that we can only be there anyway, which is good because it gets to be a lot. A lot of you maybe have done a lot of webinars this summer. I know I have, and it gets to be like I'm more tired from just watching the screen than actually participating. So make sure that it's short enough and you get to the point and you have your chunks. So that would be the preparation part. So let me go into Loom right now. And here I am. This is my account. And there's some different things that you can do. So the first thing is I could start a new video right here if I wanted to, or I can add a folder. Now, let me show you. This is just talking about the organization of it. I would highly suggest, since we're all going to be thinking asynchronously, you're going to have a lot of videos. I mean, for every little tiny thing, even if it's just, once a week, you have all those weeks in the school year. You're going to want to probably put them into some folders, especially if you do more than one grade level or more than one topic area or content area. So you can see here I have these are my 2 PDE courses I have, and then this is my remote learning one for all of my students at Deering. So also when I click on that, you can see I added folders within the folder. And so you can it's kind of like Google Drive, where you just add a new folder and then you can drop whatever videos you have into that grade level. So these are all of my 4th grade ones. You can see my son helped me. He's probably not happy I'm showing that right now, but that's okay. These are all of the different things I did for 4th grade. And they're just organized so I can find them a little bit better. You have some options up here with your folders. You can star your folder if you want to make it a favorite. You can share your whole folder if you want to make it public and you want to share all of those activities or between grade levels, or again, the whole thing is collaboration. So instead of you just making videos, maybe one person, I'm the math teacher, so I'm going to make all the math videos, and another teacher is going to do all the ELA videos, and I'm the science guy, so I'm going to do the science stuff. So work smart. Don't sit there and think you have to do every video yourself. Divide it into different content areas and have your team work on their specialty. What are they the best at? And then we have some 3 dots here, and it's just rename or archive. Now, a little word of caution. I know a lot of times when we're experimenting with things, when we want to delete something, it's like, oh, this was just a trial and you want to delete it. You cannot delete anything. You cannot delete, you can delete an individual video, but you can't delete a folder. What you do is you archive the folder first, and then when you go over here to the left where it says archived and you pull up all the archive files, then you can click on it and it will give you the chance to delete it. So it's kind of like just an extra step. Did you really want to delete it? It won't let you do it the first time with your folders because there's going to be a lot of content in there. So just know that you can delete it, but you have to archive it and then go into the archives to delete your folders. Okay, this one is totally free, and that's why I like it a lot. And then you have your videos, and it's just, again, loom.com. This is tied. This is just a Chrome extension. So it's added up here. You can see this little red, it looks like a little flower thing. Whenever I want to record, that's where I'm going to be. Okay, so I can start a new video from here, but let me show you if I go back to my slideshow here. I can just click on this extension. And now it gives me the options of what I want to do. So now you see that I'm a little circle down here. This is what your students will see. I can be medium or I can be big. Okay, so you have a choice. When I'm trying to share my screen, I usually do the smallest one because I want them to see what it is that's on the screen. So if I go over here, this would be, I'm going to screen record myself, and I'm going to record the screen. So I'll show you that in a minute. You also have the option of taking yourself off and just doing the screen. So if you don't want to be on camera, you could have your little avatar or your picture or your letter name for your, if you're in Google, it'll just have your letter name there, or you can get rid of that altogether. and then you could just record that way. So that's if you only want to do the screen. Let's say you wanted to just do yourself. So you could have the camera as well. Now I went back, I need to go back because it got rid of my camera. So let me show you if I just do camera. Okay, so camera only. And this was a little daunting, or not daunting, but I didn't really realize this until many months later. It looks like right now that it's going to show up in the background, okay? But when I record just my camera, I'm going to put it on the biggest one, and I'm going to just move this over. And remember, I have to make sure I know where my hands are, so if I'm doing anything with movement, I keep it in there. So let me show you what it looks like, because when you get the video, it doesn't look like this, and I thought it would, and it doesn't. So I'm just going to start the recording. 3, 2, 1. Hey, all my dearing dolphins. I'm so glad you're coming back to school with me. I've missed you so much, and we're going to have lots of fun this year. And so to stop it, I just went back up to that little flower thing and stop. I just pushed it and it stops. So now you see it shows me as a square. And it's not, even though you're in a circle, it's going to show. Dolphins, I'm so glad you're coming back to school with me. I've missed you so much, and we're going to have lots of fun this year. Okay, so that's just a little tip. I'm going to delete this video. Okay, so that's just a little tip of, you know, it's kind of misleading when you're doing it, that it looks like, oh, I'm just going to be in this circle, and that's not the case. So that will help you if you're going to just do a screen recording from here. So if I look, I'm going to bring this down. So like with this presentation, I'm sharing my screen basically. So what you would do is you're essentially going to share your screen and you're going to talk them through whatever your content is. If you have like a math example, if you have a reading example or whatever, you just push screen and cam. Again, you can choose to be in it. I would suggest if you're going to put yourself in it, that you make it the smallest. And I do suggest, I know it's going to be, for some of you that are maybe more introverts, I know that this is going to be like, oh my gosh, this is really scary. However, remember your students are not going to see you on a regular basis, and they're going to want to see your face. So if you can practice and maybe get a little more comfortable with it, and even if you're like, man, I look horrible, remember the kids, they have so much grace and they love us no matter what. They've missed us and they're going to want to see you. So I highly suggest that you put your face in there, even in the smallest amount, just so they have some kind of connection, because they are longing for that. So let me just show you real quick. I push full desktop and I push start recording, and I can have just the application window if I want, or I can do the entire screen. You have a choice of how you want to present, and then you just click on it. You click on that part and push share. It'll give you a countdown. Hi, my dearing dolphins, or hi, my screen recording participants. And today we're going to be talking about preparation and features and what we're going to record. And I can even go up here and push present mode. It keeps my picture there. It'll just disappear for a minute, and then you can give your whole presentation the way you are normally going. Okay, so I'm going to stop. I just escape, and then I stop. So you'll be able to see that. Dolphins, or hi, my screen recording participants. And today we're going to be talking about preparation and features and what we're going to record. And I can even go up here and push present mode. It keeps. Okay, so you see that it puts everything. You're going to be able to teach them by reflecting your screen with the Loom, and then you can just take that link and you can put that into your, embed that into your Canvas. Okay, now before we do that, let me just show you a couple of other little things that might be helpful. Let me go to remote learning and just show you a couple of things that I did. Now I'm going to show you one. Where's my first grade one? And since, you know, I want to be interactive, but nope, that's not the one I want. I want to be interactive, but I won't be able to hear you. So let me see if I can just find, I think it's just under my regular videos. Doop, 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 doop. Where are you? Thought I had one. Oh, here it is. Okay, so here's a tutorial. Now, as Mike said, we're going to get to this in what to record, but you're going to need to record steps for everything. Okay, so if you're using Google Classroom, you're going to need to walk yourself through clicking on the button. Here's how we get in. Here's how I do this. This is where you're going to find your assignments. Oh, here's the topic for your music class, your PE class, or whatever it is. You're going to have to walk them through it. And then you're also going to have to definitely make another video for your Canvas. So you're going to have to screen record. You're in your Canvas, and here's how I log in. Start at the beginning. Here's how I log in. Here's the button. Here's how you find the first page. You're going to have to go very slow. Think of it as you're making how-to videos, because your students are not going to know, your parents are not going to know, and so you've got to make sure that you do that. So this is for the first graders. I think it was first grade. I wanted them to go to Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood through pbs.org, and I wanted them to get a drum specifically and tap a beat on it. Now, I want you to think, even though we're not interacting, you can interact through chat if you want, but I want you to kind of listen for the things that maybe I didn't consider very well when I made this video. This is real short. It's just 1 minute and 17 seconds. What did I not do very well here?
Hello, Mrs. Brown here, and today I'm going to show you how to play around in Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. When you click on the picture, you'll come up here, and then you can pick whatever you want. You can pick characters or instruments. You can go to the stage. But if you want to play a steady beat on the drum, you're going to come right here in the middle to these little music notes. And when you click on the music notes, it's going to open up a new window for you. And you have a xylophone, you have a guitar, and then you have some drums. If you hit on the drums here, this is where you can do your beat, 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 beat.
Okay, so whether you're interacting on the chat or not, let me tell you a couple of things that hopefully you notice that I would go back and redo. The first thing is that you hear a lot of extra background noise. Okay, so the computer I have is a Title I laptop that I've been using from school that's like from 2010. So sometimes, I'm not using that now, thank goodness, but sometimes it makes all these fun little weird sounds, and so, yeah, it was just having one of those moments. And so I would go back and definitely redo that tutorial, because it's such a short video anyway. And then that would take the distraction of the background noise, which was actually the computer being stupid, you know, doing that. So that was the first thing. If you notice when you watch down here,
Beat, beat, beat. So you can get out your favorite piece of...
You can see that there's a lot of lag time. And that's because my computer was not close enough to the router. So you can see it's not a horrible video. Is it doable? Yes. But this is just an example of some things of what happens, like what we talked about before, if you miss those preparation steps for that. So that would be something you might want to look at. So then let's go back. I want to show you. I wanted to show a camera only one, and let me go into here. Second grade. All right. Here's one. All right, so this is one I did with music content, and I was actually teaching the lesson, and I just used the camera video. So it's just a few minutes. Just take a look at it. Content.
I thought you might like a challenge with our right foot, left foot. Learn what a half note is, and we just added the steady beat. Let's see if you can do two at once. Let's put the half note in our feet. So half note, half note. Can you keep it that slow? Now here's the fun part. With your hands, you're going to do 2 claps for every one you do. So beat, 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 slow, slow, half, note, quarter, 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 quarter. So you're going to pat your foot or stop.
Okay, so you can see that I'm teaching content. I'm in my house. I just put the camera on and I'm teaching the content that I want them to know. This ends up being a 2-minute and 26-second challenge for them. So it's very short. It's doable. It'll get them up and moving. If you're doing content where they're actually learning academic skills, and you're supposed to be on, I don't know what they're going to say for the district, if we're supposed to do 30 minutes at a time or whatever, you might want to, in the middle of your lesson so that they're not sitting there the whole time, maybe just do some kind of movement activity. Or the elementary teachers, I know Go Noodle is a pretty popular thing where it has lots of moving and breathing and just fun interactive activities that you could do like a little brain break and just you could reflect your screen and do that. So, getting them up, moving. We don't want students to just be sitting there the whole time staring at your screen. If you can get them moving, give them some little brain breaks, that would be good as well. So that was just a little bit of music content. I wanted to show, let's see, where is my, okay, so here's a book that I found. If you don't know about Epic, it is I think it's epic.com. I don't know if Mike knows it. I want to say it's epic.com, but it has books, like a lot of books that you could share, and you could screen record, and you could read it to them as you turn the pages. So here's just a little example. Instead of, one of our things in music is who stole the cookies from the cookie jar? Well, trying to promote some good health, make a cross-curricular activity. Who stole the veggies from the veggie patch?
Grade. Today we're going to be focusing on a steady beat. Maybe you've heard a poem that is a great steady beat poem for who stole the cookies from the cookie jar. Well, today we're going to have a little variation on that story. Who stole the veggies from the veggie patch? Now, after I turn the page, I'm going to point to you and you're going to say, not me. Okay, so I'm going to point to you and you say, not me. And then we'll pick up our pattern. So our pattern goes like this. Pat, clap, shoulders twice. Pat, clap, shoulders twice.
So you see in my bubble there that I'm not really patting my legs. As a music teacher, we would pat our legs. But if I pat my legs, they're not going to be able to see my hands. So this is one of those examples where you have to be aware of where the camera is.
That pattern going for our steady beat. And then we'll say, not me. And then we'll start our pattern over again. Okay, so here is our story. Rabbit stole the radishes from the veggie patch. Who, me? Yes, you. Not me. Wasn't me. Then who? You see how that works? Did you catch it? Let's go back and do that again. So I'll say,
okay, so I model it for them. We go back, we reteach it, and this gets them some interaction in the story. So there's a lot of different books. This is just very basic, but I think it's epic.com. I will double check that when we get through the end. But there's a lot of ELA different books you can do, and it's good for adding stories and giving that participatory feel to it. Okay, so Let me go into how would I, let's say I want to embed this into my canvas. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I go over here to link sharing, and I'm just going to go down, and I'm going to, Mike can tell me for sure if you have to, I mean, everyone with the link can see it. I always make it public just to make sure, because you know me, like you've already seen how I always forget to make things, you know, accessible. So I always click that, but Mike can maybe give us a thing if it would work with just link sharing. I never want to take the chance, so I just do it. All right, so I copy the link, and then I'm going to go back into my canvas. I'm going to go into whatever my page is, and I'm going to go to edit. And then it's going to come up. Now, if you notice, there was no over here. Let me see if I can find it. There's no option for embed. This Loom does not give me an option that I have seen, unless it's under settings, where I can actually embed the video in here. So you can. Okay, tell me where it is, because I've never seen it.
To your arrow, your video.
Show me. Oh, right here?
The arrow, yep, click it.
Yay! Oh, I learned something new. Hallelujah. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll embed. Yippee. Thanks, Mike. See, I learned something too. I'm so excited. It's like Christmas for me now. All right, so I'm going to go down here into the embed. Remember, we're looking for the little greater than and less than sign. And then I'm just going to paste it. There's the embed code. I'm going to come down and save it. And there's the video. So if it's you want them to watch you teaching, that's how you do it. It's right there. All they have to do is push this big play button.
Great.
And it's right there. It's right there. If that didn't work, like remember we always have that option. So we have the copy link. You can also apparently get to it here. Yay. Just copy that link. And we could go up, and if we don't want to embed anymore.
Maybe you've heard a poem that...
Stop. Okay. We want to edit. You can't delete it, Brown, if you don't edit. Ding-a-ling. Okay. So now I can delete this whole thing. Maybe, there we go. Okay. So I don't want to embed it. So now I have all these choices up here again. So I can go up to the little link. It looks like a paper clip. And then I click on the down arrow, and I'm going to go to external links because Loom is a third-party tool from Canvas. It's not directly related to Canvas. So I'm going to paste this in here, and I probably don't want the whole link to be there, so I'm going to link it to a text. So I'm going to say, here is your music lesson today. Exclamation point. Okay, so I push done. And then when I go down here and save it, all right, and then when the student sees the page, you would have to walk them through this process again, and seeing that anything that is in blue has something they need to watch or go to. It's going to take them somewhere else. And so then you can click on it, and then they would go and they would be able to watch it here. Now you can see that this is multiple steps. So, and then it takes you to the Loom website there. So it's always better to embed. You obviously saw the difference of when it's embedded, all I have to do is push the play button, whereas this is a little extra step. So when you don't have an embed code or an embed option, you have to do what you have to do. But if you're given that option, you always want to embed, because you saw the difference, that it's way better to just have them, it's easier, just have them click it right there. So that's how you would do that. Okay, so if I go back, let's talk about the importance of recording. Let me go back to my thing here. It's back on our thing. All right, so what are we going to record? All right, well, students are going to be mostly asynchronous. So on all the trainings that I've been doing with people, I tell them build all of your plans like you are never, ever going to see them. Like, let's say we're supposed to do live and for some reason they say, nope, we're not even going to do live lessons. You know, you've got to have your content there ready to go as if they are never going to see you. What I'm going to do, and even as I think this would work for a classroom teacher as well, no matter what content area you teach, here's what I would suggest is I've built everything, and then I'm going to, for my live lessons, I'm going to pull out the most important parts that I want to go over with them. Here's the meat of my lesson. Here's the thing that I really want them to know, and I'm going to do that part live. But remember, it's still recorded for the kids that aren't there, or if they need extra help. It's not going to be a horrible thing for them to get it twice. It's not. It's not going to be horrible for them to do the song with me live and then, oh, we already did the song, but there it is in their asynchronous part. I think that's really smart. So that's what I've been kind of trying to preach to people is plan everything asynchronous and then take, if you're going to be live, just take something that's the most important and then you can do it live on your Google Meet or if you're in another district, Zoom or whatever that is. So and we already talked about, you're going to have to record everything. So kindergarten teachers using Seesaw, same thing. You're going to want to record yourself walking them through the platform. Here's how I log in. Here's what it looks like. Here's where you're going to find this. So that's very step by step by step. And that will make parents a little more at ease, and it's going to make the students a little more at ease too if they know how to do that. Especially with your primary students, think about it. They're going to be the ones that are actually logging into the platform. Kindergarten is probably not going to be logging into Canvas. It's probably going to be a parent. So making it easy for them, that would be really helpful. So what kinds of things are you going to video? We already talked about the how-to, the navigating through. You're going to want to record your lesson content. So you know, whatever it is, the main important part that you're teaching, you're going to probably want to record it anyway. Even if you like, well, this is the part I'm going to do live, I would still record it anyway. You just never, ever know. And so if I would record all of your lesson content, you're going to have to kind of get used to being a YouTube star without having that as a choice. This whole time I've been giving you this presentation and I can't see anybody. I can't see you. I can't hear anything. So I'm just talking and I feel like if I'm supposed to stop, Michael just jump in. So it gets very awkward that you're talking to yourself, but it will get easier and you'll get better at it to do that. So it takes a different thinking when it's something you're not used to. You're going to also want to screen record the how-to for your communication tool. So like our school, we're using Class Dojo. So you're going to want to walk them through how to do that, or Remind or Class Tag or whatever it is that you're using. You may even want to walk them through how to get into Infinite Campus. Now that might be a little wonky because if you don't have kids or you don't have a parent, parent ID because you don't have kids, that might be kind of weird. But, somehow of explaining it so they can see where to go and how to get to those grades and what they're doing. Hopefully we're not doing too much pressure with grades, but you never know. So thinking of everything that you could possibly think of if I were a parent, what would I need to have to make me feel comfortable? Kind of thinking of the worst case scenario. And then, like I said, you have to get comfortable with talking to yourself. It gets really funny and wonky, but you'll get better at it. So those are just the basics. We already just reviewing real quick here, talking about lighting. When you're preparing, look at your lighting. Make sure you know where your microphone is so you can test, can they hear you? How wide is my camera going to be? Definitely script your material. If you have your lesson plan, you're going to need to just use that and script yourself like you would normally talk in your classroom. And then practice and leave wait time if that's appropriate. recording your lesson content, your how-to videos, communication, navigating the learning system are all things that are going to be really, really important. And so that's what I have, and I'm sure Mike has some extra little tidbits of helpful. I love screen recording. You know, I don't know. I guess because maybe I'm a more extroverted person. It was kind of weird at first, but just like second nature now. Everything I do is, you could see when I was recording, I'm like, hello, second grade, because it's just like normal to me. I don't even think about it anymore. So
yeah, I mean, you know, again, I'm always my Browns. Let me make sure it's not me echoing here a little bit. Let's see. Sure. Couple things to kind of ensure that you're aware of. I think Loom is the best product on the market because of the fact that things can be embedded. And the other
awesome
casting tools don't give you that ability, and which kind of is nuts. But Loom is really a treasure in that you get a free pro account forever as long as you have your school district email address. So you just need to sign up with the education account and do what you need to do there. There's a couple things to make you very aware of in terms of kind of doing what Brown did, but if you were a classroom teacher, some other little important things to be very aware of. So if you're in Loom, and this is abilities that other screen recording software is not going to give you. You can essentially teach without having to deal very much with, you can essentially teach your class on Loom. So if you didn't want to do a learning management system, if you just wanted to just use Loom in Canvas, if your administration was forcing you to use Canvas, you could just use those two tools and you'll probably be very, very successful doing what you need to do. So here's my little video here. Anytime you create a video, the very first thing it's going to advise you to do is it's going to say, hey, you know that website you just recorded? What if you make that the first link or first comment on your video so that kids know exactly where you got that information from? So this is just a video I made on animatron and how to go through and record the animation. So you have that, right? Great. That link is there. The other thing that's really cool is, say I start playing this video.
All right, so let's get by making it.
And say a kid gets to section, the 18th second is like, oh my God, Mr. Lang, I have no idea what you're talking about. This is just, they can comment and post, and I'm going to know exactly where that kid had issues, right? And I can reply to them directly on the video. Your other video screencasting, this is Loom created an ecosystem. It's kind of a YouTube channel, kind of what Brown said in terms of YouTube star. You essentially created a YouTube channel that kids can reply to one another. All that stuff is really cool. But the coolest part about this is, say I want you to finish the video, I want you to go directly to a place, all right? You see what says edit CTA over here. CTA is a call to action. I want you to do something. So I can click there and say, after this video, I want you to go directly to animatron, right? Because I've showed you how to use the tool, and I want you to go directly there because I want you to build your first animation. I can put that link there, and that's going to appear on my video. So when I click that, it's going to take the kid directly to animatron, right? Really takes a lot of the guesswork. If you're talking about doing some of the asynchronous work, really takes the guesswork out of that and lets the kid be independent. Watch the video. After you watch the video, click the link, and you're going to go to where you need to go. All right? So we've got that. Then the other idea here is that, you know what? I could go and create my own YouTube playlist inside of Loom and have all the steps necessary. So little micro videos, 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes, 45 seconds. I want to put those all together, and I want to shoot those to a kid. And I don't want the kid to have to come to Loom at all. So if I go into Loom, here's all my folders up here. Right now it says I have no videos because I put my videos directly into the folders they belong to. So I'm going to say here's unit 1, right? I'm going to share that entire folder with the kid. I'm going to copy the link and put that into my Google Classroom or whatever. So the kid can go from, say we need to learn how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm going to make all the different videos for the steps, put them in one folder, peanut butter and jelly sandwich playlist, and let that kid watch the entire things, right? So it's really a dynamite tool. It is the best tool in the market, in my opinion, without question. Like, it's not even close in terms of the power that's there. The other thing that is really, really cool, I'm going to bring Brown back into this conversation, is really, really cool, is there is a desktop companion. So if you have a desktop computer or a laptop or something like that, you can download Loom. So some of the funky stuff that you do with Screencastify, where you can draw on the screen, and how you can do that once you download the desktop client. Because of the fact that it lives in the cloud, it cut out a lot of that fat in order to make it very efficient for you to record on the internet. It also is the only one of these screen recording programs that has its own iPhone and iPad app. So you could actually record your iPad screen in Loom, and all those videos go to your Loom account. So for daring friends, if you're going to record things on your iPad using the Loom app, all of your stuff goes the same place, which makes it very, very convenient. All right. Candace, there's a question. So when you do a Google Meet, will you use the Google Meet recording or use the Loom to record it? So Google Meet is going to be essentially what we're doing right now. Like, we wouldn't record Loom to have a conversation with you all, but we're using the actual webinar equipment. So if you're on a Chromebook, this is where you have to be a little bit tech savvy. And this is unfortunately where we have a lot of interesting things going down in our district. If you use a Chromebook, the computing power of a Chromebook, we're going to just compare motorized vehicles, it's kind of like a lawnmower, right? It's not going to get you anywhere really fast. It's not a lot of oomph. And the more stuff that you do with it, the less effective the Chromebook is going to be. So that is necessary to understand for multiple reasons. First, empathy for your students. If you're like our school, 100% free and reduced lunch, a lot of those kids are going to be on that $10 Cox communication package, which is 25 megabits per second. Very low bandwidth, not a lot you're going to do with 25 megabits per second. One of the things you're going to ask those kids to do, and it's going to be counterintuitive, and you're going to have administrators that push back on it because they don't understand, you're going to ask those kids to turn their video off because it's going to keep and conserve bandwidth. You're not going to want a kid to put their video camera on and then start going through your Google slideshow. It's going to eat bandwidth and bandwidth. And what you're going to see is that kid start to pause in the video. Your audio is going to get all jacked up. The kid's not going to have a very pleasant experience. So first and foremost, understand bandwidth. If you're someone who's paying $100, $125 a month for their Wi-Fi, you're probably going to have enough bandwidth to do what you need to do. If you're paying $10 a month, you're not going to have a lot of bandwidth. You're not going to have a lot of ability to do what you need to do at all. So be very empathic with those kids. Also, as a teacher, you have to know, what internet speed do you have at your house? How many things are you doing at one time on your device? Are you trying to do Google Slides? You got 55 things going on with your machine, and you're on a Chromebook. You're not going to be able to go and project and do Google Meets and things like that very, very efficiently either. So Loom and screen recording before helps to cut down on the bandwidth as well. So it's going to cut down on the need for everyone to jump on. Say you've got 50 kids, you got 25 kids, you got 30 kids, and all those kids jump onto one Google Meet. You're talking about, and you're hosting it, not going to be a very fun experience. Right now, even with, I've got a top flight computer, I've got a lot of RAM, etc. I can kind of do a lot of things on my machine that perhaps, again, a Chromebook is not going to even dream of doing. But you have to understand what your own technical abilities are, technical ceiling is in terms of the device that you have. So recording things beforehand is going to be a surefire way to ensure that they're done and they're done correctly, rather than trying to go in and deal with we're going to sit for 90 minutes online or 120 minutes or whatever it is online and hope that everyone's Wi-Fi connection stays consistent.
So Mike, here, if I'm hearing you correct, would it help the bandwidth if, like, I know I've been on some webinars where the clinician comes on and introduces themselves and, says, hi, blah, 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 blah. And then they get off and push play and it's them recorded. And then they come back at the end and meet us. would that, if since we already have it recorded, if we just, greeted the students and said, hey, I'm so glad you're here. Okay, here's your lesson for the day. And then you just, play the video. Would that help the bandwidth or no?
So it totally depends. So there's multiple things it depends upon, because streaming video also eats bandwidth, right? That's why Netflix and things like that. There are a number of very, very cool websites that go and they will calculate the amount of bandwidth you would need in order to live your daily life. So if you have a Netflix account, you've got 8 devices in your class, you've got an Xbox, you have this other thing, this is how much bandwidth you need, and you can compare that to the bandwidth you actually pay for. And this is one of the reasons why, again, schools, right? When you're going to have to go back to have your staff meetings, if everyone's on and it's 80, 90 people on, you will see a lot of people start to freeze in the middle of their deal, or like you get phone pauses and all kinds of stuff like that, right? So again, bandwidth is a real thing. It has to be kind of accounted for as you go through things. And also, again, have mercy. The kid didn't turn their camera off because they were trying to avoid you. Sometimes it's, oh my goodness, my experience here is so rough. I have to turn my camera off just so I can hear what you're saying, Ms. Brown, or Ms. Geese, or whatever. All right, so have some mercy on my little friends. Also, the other thing is engagement. We're going to talk about this a little bit tomorrow. We're going to talk about it a little bit at 2 o'clock when we do Adobe Spark. If you're not familiar with Schlecky and the 5 levels of engagement, you need to make yourself aware. I'm going to share that document with you at the beginning of the Adobe Spark session. When a kid has options, you need to do something crazy to keep that kid looking at what you need to do and not looking at Xbox or whatever. So it's going to be very interesting in terms of that. Any other questions, comments, concerns? So question from Linderman, Mr. Linderman, the expectation this year is to be live on campus at the same time with students. Won't that dramatically decrease the bandwidth for the school at one time? I personally am not going back to school. So I'm going to sit until whatever pops off. I'll be right here at the Bat Cave at Mike Lang headquarters. So in terms of that situation and scenario, the bandwidth, it's still the bandwidth on the kid side. So again, if I had 25 megabits per second, I don't care what the teacher is doing at the CC. And understand, any CCSD teacher in particular, we've had Wi-Fi outages all the time. At Deering, we've had them a couple of times where the whole building go out. It's going to be necessary that you pre-record lots of your content. There's not going to be a way around that, or you're going to get very frustrated in this process. So if you try to shortcut that, God bless you. But in terms of, again, at your home, you might be able to fiddle around and get your router back up or have somebody call in. At school, you are screwed. Like, you have to wait until the district gets to you or whatever is necessary to handle your business. So, again, I did not understand your answer to Google Meets and Loom. So, LJ, they're 2 different things. So Loom is going to be something that you pre-record. I'm going to pre-record the scenario. That kid is not there synchronously with me. Asynchronous tool. Google Meet is going to be, I want to meet with you synchronously. So just kind of like what we're doing right now, except the fact that you don't have your cameras on. We're all meeting together. I'm speaking to you in real time. Your Loom is going to be pre-recording the lesson. So kind of what Brown did, kind of imagining your audience, not the audience is there with you. So kind of going a little nutty in terms of what, pretending the little kindergarten kid is there in front of me. How would they respond? Rather than I see Brown right now, and I see Brown on my screen. I can converse directly to Brown, and Brown can converse with me right back. So the Loom is going to be asynchronous. Google Meet is going to be synchronous. And even Google Meet, in terms of the synchronous thing, you're still going to have to record your Google Meets, because from what I understand from the district, they want those placed somewhere so that some kid, 3 days later can watch your video as well. So that's still going to be the deal. Loom, asynchronous. Google Meet, synchronous. All right. And we're going to go and take a 10-minute break. So we'll come back at 1:10. Because it's 1 o'clock now. Come back at 1:10. And Brown has her last session. Is going to be slides.
Slides. Yep. Today it's slides. You
have the link already in your email, so you can go directly there. Or if you want to go to Hey Summit, that link should be good to go for that as well. So we'll see you at 1:10. Unless there are any other questions, comments, or concerns.